hope you're having a great day. So today I am cleaning up my garden. One thing that would be easier is you let everything die in the winter, and then in the spring you pull it up and it's a lot easier to do. But I put in a huge bulb order because, as you all know, or if you're just now like watching my videos, I decided that I would start a flower farm, and I started last year when it was too late to put in bulbs for the spring. So I didn't have any daffodils or tulips or allium or any of that out here at the farm. So this year I have peonies coming in, allium, anemones, tulips, daffodils, and I have a ton of them. So I have got to clear out some of my annuals that have been lovely and worked for me all year long, but now they're tired and they're just not producing as good. And it's October, what is it, October 7th. So normally our average first frost date is the 10th, so in 3 days. But it is supposed to be 85 degrees this weekend, so I don't think that's gonna happen. But anyway, I know I haven't done very many videos, and I thought this would be a good time. I think that I'll just get a few clips of what I'm doing. So I'm doing this the hard way. I know that you're supposed to work smarter, not harder, but I've gained a few pounds, so it's not gonna hurt me to work a little bit harder. But yeah, so already today you can see this row is pretty much empty, and you see the bed of my truck is full. So I'm gonna drive down, I'm going to put that in the ditch because we have a ditch that's like really deep. So I'm just gonna try to fill it up a little bit. I know it won't fill it up all the way, but it'll be good. I'll throw it all in there and put some substance in the ditch. And then I will take you along on maybe clearing out this other one. So I am seriously just taking clippers and crawling around on my feet and clipping them down. I'm working harder, not smarter, but that's all I have. I mean, I know like all these people have tractors, and that is next year's goal, is to get a little tractor so I can till when I want to till and do what I want to do. And as you can see over here, we have, my dad came out and he plowed up another, I would guess it's about 1/8 of an acre, maybe a little bit more. So I was going to start with 1/4 acre and then grow it to 1/2 acre and then 3/4 of an acre and then an acre. And I think I am wimping out. I'm like, well, let's just do 1/8 of an acre this year. So yeah, so I'm going to take all of this. Let's see, a lot of that, about 1/8 of this acre were annuals this year. So what I'm going to try to do is I am going to try to put in mainly perennials. So if you watch my other videos, I definitely put my lavender too close together. So I would like to get all of my annuals out, put down the black tarp, put the lavender in the right spacing, and then also put my daffodils, which will come back every year, my allium and other perennials, and try to make this 1/4 acre of perennials. And then I'll have 1/8 of an acre of annuals, which is about what I had this year, and I didn't cut and sell all of them. I definitely can find, I need to find some more outlets for selling my flowers next year so that I can go through them a little bit quicker. And I thought if I got the perennials going, which I really want to do, I will just keep doing the same amount of annuals until I outgrow my space. Like I can't, because this year, I mean, if I say I'm running out and I don't have enough, well, like this year I just left like rows of my zinnias because I was like, oh, they'll die and I can like pull them next, you know, in the spring when it's easy. But you can actually go ahead and pull them and replant that row, and that's what a lot of people do that don't have as much land to work with. I had the land, so I just would add another row of succession planting of like zinnias, cosmos, and stuff like that. And next year I might have to do more of that, where I succession plant back into a row that I've pulled, and get familiar with that process. But right now I'm going to do some cleanup the hard way, and I'm just going to give you a few video clips of that. It's been a great year. Thank you to everybody that supported me. I really appreciate it. The people of Knoxville were awesome. it was my first year. It was kind of hard to get out there. I did go door to door. I went to a bunch of florists in Des Moines. I went to Apella. I went to Knoxville. And I did really well with some of the florists that I hooked up with. And like I don't know, they liked my flowers and they liked me. And they like just purchased, you know, even small amounts. Like every week it was just like consistent income. And then I had some that were doing large amounts every week, and that was consistent income. But the people of Knoxville, like, they liked I think they liked my design, or everybody's being really nice, I don't know. But they really like my flowers. I had a lot of good feedback on the longevity of my flowers. So like right now, that's another reason I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna like cut back how I'm gonna do bouquets. I have done a few, and I'm trying to just do Lisianthus and Snapdragons because I know they have a vase life of 10 days or more. And I had a great feedback when my zinnias weren't in their prime, when I did the peonies in the spring. I mean, people said their bouquets were lasting, some people said their bouquets lasted like 3 weeks. And I was like, wow, like they don't last in my house that long, but I forget to recut them and put food in them. And I forget to take care of them in the house because I'm taking care of them out here. So I'm giving these guys food and water, and then the ones in my house are like dead. And I'm like, what happened? Like, why'd they die? And then I'm like, oh, there was no water in the vase. So yeah, the people that are taking care of them, they're getting really good vase life. And then, you know, as midsummer came along and I got more into the zinnias because they're so pretty, they don't have as long a vase life. Like a peony has a longer vase life than a zinnia. A Snapdragon has a longer vase life than a zinnia. The peonies smell better than a zinnia. The zinnias don't really have any smell. So it's like, you know, people go to smell that bouquet. So now I'm thinking, okay, what kind of filler, what kind of leaves, what can I do to make them smell better? I did have a lot of people that I follow, like they said, oh, cinnamon basil is great. But I used cinnamon basil for about 2 weeks. And honestly, when it got wet, I thought it smelled like cat pee. Like, I don't know, like maybe my scent is off. I did talk to some other people that said they didn't like the smell of it either. So like cinnamon basil is out for me. I am not. The Thai basil, on the other hand, smelled really good. But I honestly, even though basil is a great filler, I'm not like it looked pretty and it was nice and you could like pick off some and use it to cook with. That's cool. But I wasn't a fan. Like, I didn't think it smelled the best. So now I'm trying to find some filler and some things that go with zinnias that make the bouquet smell good, because there's a lot of people that like that zinnia look. And I do too. I think they're gorgeous. And so like the flowers that don't have a smell, what can I put in with them to make them smell better? That's one of my goals for next year. And then I still definitely want to do the zinnias. I had a lot of people that love them. But their vase life at the beginning, when they were first coming up, they were like a good 12 days. If you took care of them, watered them, snipped them, put like more of the flower food in the water, they would last. But then, you know, when they started, like after I'd cut on them a while, I started noticing like, and as I lost sunlight, so like, you know, you go from having like all these hours of sunlight and it just starts going down. Well, the flowers aren't doing as good now. Like and when you cut them, they don't last as long in the vase. So, you know, they started to go down to 10 days. And I was like, well, that's good enough. And 7 days. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to call it a year on a really good note. And I'll do a few bouquets here and there with like my Lisianthus and Snapdragons that I know will last. But I don't want everybody to go out on a bad note where they're, you know, they only had like 5 days of a bouquet on their table, because I want them to last. I want them to be quality. And I had a lot of comments on like how long my flowers lasted, like after people bought them at the farmer's market, or people would order them for their friends and family. And you guys, thank you so much. Like, it was a huge part of my income this year. I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting to do bouquets, but I was kind of forced into it because I didn't get the wholesale sales that I was hoping for, because I was wanting to sell, you know, buckets of flowers to florists. Like that was my motto. That's what I was going to do. And I enjoyed putting the bouquets together at the end. It was so hot too. Like, I like being inside in the air conditioning and putting them together and being like, oh, that looks pretty. And it made me feel good to take them to people. At first, I wasn't like so happy to take it to people that were sad, but then I realized like even if it gives them like a little bit of an uplift in their day, And maybe I can be part of that uplift. Maybe I can say, hey, I know it's a hard day, but like, here's some flowers. Like, I hope it gets better. It will, or, just anything uplifting. So like, it was good for me to have to like go through that and try to be a better person and like come up with more conversation, because I'm not the best person at stuff like that. So challenge accepted. So anyway, that is kind of a recap of my year, and I think the fresh cut flowers were a hit. I think they were lasting a long time. I think people enjoyed having that like whimsical look on their dining room tables or wherever they were putting them, and I feel like it was a good year, and I hope that next year I can grow even more. I do have to keep it going because it did do good, but I still have things to buy. I have bulbs and I have perennials to buy, and they're kind of expensive to get started. I got my truck. And next I want a little tractor, because I do everything harder, not smarter. So that's the next thing I'm going to save up for, and hopefully this can sustain me. And, I'm hoping 3 or 4 years, like, I could get rid of Itsterdick, I can do this full time, and I hope I build up a client base that supports that. I'm even thinking of this year maybe doing some things. I know like in other states, I don't know, maybe in Iowa even, people do these things called CSAs, and it's where people will like sign up and say, okay, I want a subscription to your flower service, and then I will, every Thursday I will either deliver flowers or they pick up flowers, and I have to figure all of that out. But I'm thinking of doing that, and I think that would be a good way to do things, because I would have orders for florists and I would have people wanting bouquets, and I could do it all. I really could. And I don't want to get to a place where I let anybody down. And I think if I had subscriptions where, okay, where do you want these delivered, or do you want to pick them up and take them to people? And I can kind of schedule out my day, since it's just me. I didn't ever want to be like, I can't get you that bouquet today, But if anything happened where I wasn't feeling well or anything like that, and I couldn't deliver the bouquet, I feel like I'll be letting people down when they're counting on me to like help them out or whatever. So I've got some of that stuff to like go through, figure out. I would love feedback. So if anybody would be interested in like a subscription type service, you can private message me. You can message on the post where I post this. But I would kind of like to get that going, and maybe I can just put it on my website and people can sign up for it. And then I would kind of know how much, I could get to a point where I know how much I can do of that too, because it does take a while to like put a bouquet together, especially if you're kind of picky. If you just put the farmer market bouquets together, then they are faster. So I can put those together really fast, and then people can cut them and put them in the positions they want when they get them home in their vase. But when you're actually making the vase, like, it takes a little bit more time. I am trying to find ways to be more efficient though. But let's clean up this field. Okay, so I do want to clean out all of this basil, but the thing with the basil is it is covered in bees. So like all the honeybees, well maybe they've left, no. Do you see all the honeybees? They're still getting stuff from the basil. And I don't want to hurt the honeybees. So, even though it does need to come out, because I do need to get my bulbs in, I'm going to wait and I'm going to take it out later. Because I can take out all of these zinnias in this row. So, now, I was just finishing up taking the zinnias out of that row, so now I've got this row of zinnias. It's going to take a long time the way I'm doing it. So I'll probably just give you short clips here and there, but pretty much I am cutting them and with a tool, I'll show you in a minute, and then sweeping them out of the way, and then just going down the road and then putting them in my truck. And I haven't really been wanting to drive my truck on here because I haven't taken out my drip. So I'll just work harder. This is what I'm using. It's got a zinnia head in it. But I'm just going through and snipping them. And again, the reason I'm doing this is because we just plowed that over there, so it has to set the winter before it can be tilled. And I need to pull up the black stuff, pull up my drip line, retill this, and put perennial bulbs in. So if I was just going to do another annual bed, I could leave all my black stuff, let it all die back, just scrape it off in the spring, take it up, and put your like compost and stuff down, and then put it back in the spring. But it's a lot easier. You don't have to do this part. But I have to do this part because I have to have these beds ready to put bulbs in. Should I go? I just thought I'd bring you a little closer. So all I'm doing is right here at this little thing, I'm just snipping it and throwing it off to the side. I'm trying not to get my drip line in the process. So I had this vine that was growing in my zinnias, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll have some like pumpkins this year. Now I'm wondering why I didn't just rip the vine out. I need to look up the name again. My friend Sabrina gave me the name of these little things. They actually taste like a cross between a really green banana, a cucumber, and a melon. They're actually not bad. I drank some of the juice, but they're supposed to be bright orange before you pick them. And look, they go back there. Like, I think I'm going to be fighting these for a while. So that's going to slow down the progress. But I want to get this done, and I don't see myself eating all of these. They're kind of weird. I mean, they're okay. Like, I liked them. But I wouldn't eat like a whole bunch of them. Look at me, I'm a mess already. This is like the farming life. I had to get that hair off my neck. But look, I've gotten some of it done. Just plugging away. I think I'm just gonna take those out. I'm sure they would ripen off the vine, maybe. I think it's gonna be a mess though. Vines are not fun to rip out. But I don't think it's for too long. Maybe I'll stand back here. I'm a wreck. But look, I got it done. Now I just have to pick it all up and take it to the ditch. Yay! I'm gonna be able to put in my bulbs. I'm so excited. The whole time I was doing that, I was like, okay, how can I work smarter? Because that was a sweaty, dirty, gross job. I had a couple of little friends that were trying to like visit me. Like, why? Like, where does this come from? I know that the girls know what I'm talking about. So, now I just load this all up, take up my drip line. I do have some things in this row, like the Lisianthus, and then at the bottom I have Ageratum, and I have some Celosia, and I'm still using that, so I can't like take it all up, but at least I can get it ready to take up, because I'm hopefully gonna get all of these rows pulled out, and I'm hoping one of my friends come over and till for me. Otherwise, I'm digging huge trenches in hard dirt. All right, so I guess, let's see. It wasn't even as long as I thought. You know, when you're like running, I don't know, I don't run anymore, but I used to run, like, well, no, like I ran for a while in my life. And I got up to 10 miles. And as you're running, like you start doing these breathing techniques where you're like, it's almost like probably giving childbirth, I don't know. But you just do like these different breathing techniques. And I started doing them, like while I'm doing stuff like this. So I'm glad that I had that period in life where I ran for like long periods of time, because it gives me the oomph to go. And I'm not gonna lie, this is taking me a few days to get to, because I was harvesting and getting flowers to people and making bouquets. And then I knew I had to tear it up, and I didn't want to tear it up. I'm like, I don't want to. What if somebody needs a zinnia? But I'm like, well, I haven't cut from this patch of zinnias in weeks, because I was just scared of the vase life. So they needed to come out. But I also knew it was going to be a big job. I tried my weed eater. It wasn't strong enough. My weed eater does have a blade on it, but I'm scared of it. Like, I don't know, like if I put the blade on wrong or something and it flies off and cuts my foot off, like that's not gonna do me any good. And it wasn't that bad. Like, yes, probably more work than I need to do. Maybe people will buy more flowers next year, and then I can get a tractor and then I can just go down the road and cut it. I'm pretty sure that people do that, even on the black stuff, if their drip line is underneath. This stupid row, which is probably the hardest row to take care of. A lot of these rows I can weed eat, but these are too thick of stems, and this stuff is kind of in the way. So got those out and the vines out. I think I can probably pull these out fairly easily. I don't want to load it all up and take it to the ditch. I'm tired. Maybe I'll go have just some water and sit down for 10 minutes, look at these notifications that are on my phone, and come and get back at it. Because that's what you've got to do. Like, when you really don't want to do something, if you just keep putting it off and putting it off, like, you won't get what you need done. And I want to have a flower farm. In year one, I had a lot to do. So I'm doing it, and I'm trying to get it done. Otherwise, it actually gives me a lot of anxiety, because I sit at home and I'm like, well, that needs done. Well, that needs done. Well, that needs done. You know, and you tell yourself, just go do it. Like, just go do it and quit, like, having all this anxiety about that needs done, that needs done. But I'm tired. But I'm this. But I need to do that. But my dog needs to go to the vet 3 times this week. You know, and, like, things, like, life happens. But sometimes you do. Like, it's like the Nike saying, you just need to go do it. Because if you just do it, it gets done, and it's like something less stressful. And then you can like start thinking about other stuff. And I am so excited to start planning and thinking about next year, because that's the fun part to me. And I haven't had time to really do that. I've just been working, and I really love to like plan, and I want to like come up with like a monthly, like what do I need to do every day, and how do I need to succession plan. And I think I'll have fun doing that this winter. What is that? Oh, it was a fly. There were some spiders in there, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little scary. Ta-da! And there you go. I got this row right here. And then that row all tore out and done. So now I can roll up. How sweaty do you guys think I am? Sweaty. Dirty. I don't even know. I should go wash up. Look at all this dirt. This is why I don't even want to be on camera. So anyway, so I got all of that cleaned up, and now I can roll up my, I'm still breathing heavy, but I can roll up all of my drip line and clean out maybe that second row over there. I do have a row that I succession planted of zinnias, and they're still looking pretty, even though they do have a little bit of white on the leaves, which makes them have a lower vase life. But anyway, it is done. So the truck still needs unloaded one more time, but I think I'm just gonna leave it, and I think I'll just empty it tomorrow because I have more to do. But this was by far my biggest row of just straight zinnias. Like, there's a couple little patches there, and then this row is pretty big. But pretty soon I will be able to have all of this cleared out so that I can put the bulbs in. It's getting done. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm ready to get home and just take a break. I hope everybody has a great week. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. I'll try to video the process. Have a great day.